Welcome. This project was made possible due to a collaboration between Coldwater National Honor Society students and the Branch County Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. The students, when considering a project, felt that this is a prevalent issue and hasn't gotten the attention that it should. So this project team decided to change that. These students, through their advisor, Brian Stevens, reached out for technical assistance to the Branch County Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence to help with the education along with their own research. The following is a culmination of this work.
Hello, I am Deanna Casham from Coldwater High School's National Honor Society, and I am here to talk to you about Shattering the Silence, Sexual Harassment and Assault here in Branch County. Let's listen as these people shared their thoughts about what sexual harassment and assault means to them.
When somebody tries to touch somebody in a sexual way.
When someone is trying to force you to do sexual stuff.
Physically touched in areas you don't want to be touched.
I think sexual harassment is anything that can make a girl or a guy feel uncomfortable on any level if someone is touching them or even inappropriate comments.
She is right. Sexual harassment is teasing and touching in a way that makes someone feel uncomfortable. What can we do to help shatter the silence?
Girls are more likely than boys to be sexually harassed, but it can happen to anyone. And it can happen anywhere, in big public schools and small private ones, in cities and in the rural areas, in high school, middle school, even elementary school.
I think that they should teach them, teach the kids that, it's not good to, maybe touch each other inappropriately, in the hallways and say inappropriate things.
And it's not just at school. 1 in 3 students say they've been harassed through a text, email, or Facebook.
I was in high school and really open about my sexuality, and then people had a problem with that. But then, they were bullying me online.
When you're harassed electronically through social media, it can be devastating. It doesn't end at the end of the school day. It continues on into the evenings. It seems like it's everywhere. It can seem like it's everybody.
Surprisingly, a lot of teens admit they harass others. Some say it's no big deal or it's funny, but it's not.
It can make them feel sick to their stomach. They can have trouble going to school. They may have trouble concentrating on their schoolwork and may not even want to go to school.
Sadly, only half the students who were victimized reported it to anyone.
Well, I would report it, but nowadays kids try to keep it to themselves and it could end up getting worse.
You don't have to live with sexual harassment.
What can we do to stop sexual harassment and assault from happening?
We need to be aware.
We need to accept responsibility.
We need to act appropriately. You need to be aware. Of all the victims under 18, 2 out of 3 are ages 12 to 17. You need to recognize that non-consensual sex, teasing, or touching in a way that makes someone feel uncomfortable is sexual assault.
There is no excuse for sexual assault. You need to accept responsibility and identify situations in which sexual assault may occur, and you need to intervene in situations where consent has not or cannot be given.
You need to act appropriately at all times with peers, in dating relationships and with loved ones. You need to create an environment in which sexual assault is unacceptable and survivors are supported.
It's on us to shatter the silence.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Take the pledge to shatter the silence. Go to itsonus.org.
As you can tell from the information we've shared with you, most people who are harassed or assaulted don't report it. That means that bad behavior continues, and in many cases, it escalates. That's why we need to shatter the silence. Our next speaker is someone who did just that. Stephanie is a graduate from Coldwater High School. Steph credits a presentation from her freshman phys ed class with saving her life. The speaker was a certified, trained sexual assault nurse examiner or a SANE nurse from the Coldwater Hospital. Just a few days into summer vacation between her freshman and sophomore year, Stephanie was raped and threatened to be killed if she told anyone. As a result of the information she received during that phys ed class, Steph knew what to do and what not to do to stay alive. She had learned that the crime scene was more than the location of where the rape happened, that her body was in fact a crime scene, and that she needed to protect the evidence on her. When the nurse at Coldwater Hospital started to describe the rape kit, Steph said, "I already know about it. I learned about it in phys ed class, and you were my instructor." That's right, she was the very same nurse. Because Steph reported the rape so quickly, the Michigan State Police were able to interview some of her neighbors before they went off to work. A neighbor who also happened to be a Coldwater High School student had seen a suspicious car in the neighborhood and was able to provide a license plate number to the police. Within hours, the police were face to face with the owner of the car, who was later confirmed by DNA as the rapist. Steph wanted to go to trial. She wanted to make sure this man would not do this to another person ever again. He is now serving a minimum of 33 years and up to 55 years in prison. Let's listen to what Stephanie has to say.
My name's Stephanie, and I grew up here in Coldwater, Michigan. Initially, when I had that class, I was the kid sitting at the back going, "This is never going to happen to me. Why am I even listening to this?" But the sad truth is that it's 1 in 3, and not 1 in 3 women. 1 in 3 people will go through this in their lifetime. So I went back and asked the teacher if I could be a part of her group and could talk to the freshman classes coming in to take this class. And she thankfully let me come on. It was a big step in healing for me, being able to tell my story. I've had lots of people commend me for coming forward. On the other hand, there's victim shaming that comes along with it as well. I didn't fight back against my attacker. I was 16 years old. I didn't weigh more than 125 pounds soaking wet. He could throw me around like a rag doll with one arm. It's what I had to do to survive, and that's what I try and tell people. It's not about fighting back. You know, if you feel like you can't fight back because it's just going to put you in greater risk of losing your life, you do what you need to do to survive, to get through that situation. Going back to school was interesting. Going to high school parties later on and watching people putting themselves in precarious situations by getting overly intoxicated or doing drugs. I always became the mother hen over most of my friends whenever we would go to parties, being sober mom, and making sure that everyone was safe and that everyone would make it home at the end of the night. I can tell you that a lot of people will tell you that time will heal all wounds. I don't know so much about completely healing as they get lesser over time. The more my family stayed active and talked about these kind of things, the more we felt we healed. Counseling is always a great idea. Never settle for a counselor. Find someone who you feel comfortable with. And it doesn't have to be, someone with a degree. Talking to my teachers was a great help. I had an amazing support system going through school. I almost didn't make it through high school. There were times where I was absent from school more than I was present. But having a couple good teachers by my side kept me going, kept me coming back, even when it was hard to face the kids around you. So we have to shatter the silence. And the only way that we're going to do this is if we stop hiding in the shadows and feeling like this was our fault in some way. The only way we're going to stop people from continuing to do this and get away with this is giving ourselves a voice and giving a voice for those around us who can't speak up for themselves. If someone comes to you and wants to tell you their story because they feel like they have no one else that they can talk to, please just listen. Try not to be judgmental. You don't know what this feels like until it happens to you or till it happens to someone that you know.
To see this information and more related to Stephanie, go to the Branch County Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence website at 278safe.com/Stephanie. If you'd like to meet Stephanie, she will be available at her booth at the Coach Eby Youth and Family Center from 9 to 10:30 this Saturday, April 27th at the Walk a Mile event.
No matter if something happened today, yesterday, or years ago, to you, a friend, or family member, there are people to talk to anytime. For more information, go to 278safe.com.
Join us in Shattering the Silence on the last Saturday in April.
For Walk a Mile in Their Shoes.
For more information about the Walk a Mile event, let's watch the video.
The 9th annual 2019 Walk a Mile in Their Shoes event is almost here. Are you ready? We're ready! Not only do we get to shed light, understanding, and love on what domestic and sexual violence looks like in our community, but we can come together to discuss difficult topics, all while we are having a great time. This is a family-friendly, whole community event with something for everybody. Bob Evans and Star of the West Breakfast is at 9 a.m., followed by our chip-timed 5K run, a dog walk, a 1-mile march with some in high heels and some in costumes for the Walk a Mile in Their Shoes, and a grilled barbecue chicken lunch, a bounce house and face painting, as well as other characters stopping in to visit the kids. Inside we have balloon pops, silent auction items, absolute entertainment, playing music, and so much more. Southern Michigan Bank is our designer shoe sponsor again. Century Bank and Trust, along with McDonald's, are again our platform sponsors. These sponsors, along with so many others, have said they are ready to change the environment and educate our community to support our local victims of domestic and sexual violence. Walk a Mile has a purpose. It's for awareness. It is a call to action, an opportunity to start listening to people, to believe, support, and to understand the victimization beyond the stigma and initial assumptions about domestic violence. We are expanding the circle and trying to reach every victim we can. It's easy to help us. Just come have fun. Whether you walk yourself, your dog, or run a 5K, whether you want to eat breakfast or lunch, or you just want to see what this is all about, come and join us, ask questions, and become informed on how you can be ready. We'll see you Saturday, April 27th.